Hey team, welcome back to the channel. For those new to the channel, this is all about how do we take the continuous improvement mindset and incorporate it in our lives to make it easier, simpler, and to improve performance. That's it. And I've got something I think special for you today. I say I think because it's a mantra that's very important to me and it helps out a lot. Plane going overhead, don't know if you're capturing it. Anyway, a couple of videos ago, I talked about a saying that meant a lot to me, and that was from Clint Eastwood, who said, and don't quote me on this, but it's along the lines of, don't let the old man in. Don't let the old man in. And that was his mindset to stay young and energetic. And it resonated with me when I heard it. I can't remember how many years ago. And you know, or you might not, but you know that I'm into my running and I'm quite competitive in my running and I'm expecting more and more from my running. In fact, tonight I've got a 3,000 meter race and I'm hoping to get a PB, but I can do the best I can do and we'll see what happens. I will get a PB. It's either going to be tonight or some other night. Anyway, that's not the point. This is the point. I think when we talk about continuous improvement and that mindset, that drives by having that mindset, and this is what I'm going to share the insights of over just a whole series of videos, having those supports the right behaviors that helps me validate to myself who I am and what I stand for. Now, I did talk about, like I said, Clint Eastwood, and I have just talked about trying to get a PB in my running and get faster and faster. And in that previous video, I think it's about 2 videos ago, I talked about someone breaking the world record for the 800 meters and getting that done. He was 55 years old and he got the 800 meters done in 2:02, which is faster than my PB. So I'm 52 now, and that message says to me in the next 3 years, I can still expect to improve. Now I'll talk about the detail and how I'm going to do that in just a moment. And by sharing the detail, that will give you a bit of a breakdown of, well, what does a continuous improvement mindset manifest as? So if we talk about a continuous improvement mindset and we apply it to running, what does that manifest as? What does that look like? What does that mean? I'll get to that in a second. But what I want to share with you right now, and this is the most important thing, and I want to share it at the front of the video because people tend to click off as we go through it, and fair enough too, is this. I'm no Peter Pan. I know that as much as I want to continue to improve, that there are challenges that come with age, but they will not be my excuse. Age will be my challenge, but not my excuse. Age will be my challenge, but not my excuse. So that's a mantra that's important to me. And so how does that manifest? So when we talk about continuous improvement, and then I'll talk about age as a challenge, but not my excuse. The not my excuse part means that's not a reason to give up. I'm not going to subscribe to that mindset of, oh, you know, my joints ache, or I'm not as young as I was, or I'm not as fast as I was, or I mean, I'm not going to even let those entertain those thoughts in my head, because what comes out of those is dismissing things that we can still do. And I don't know if I talked about it a couple of videos back, but usually if there's a dialogue in your head that you're dismissing something, that means that thing is still possible, but you're really trying to write it off. So when you're doing that, oh, I don't think I can make the appointment, that means part of you thinks you can, but you're getting comfortable with the idea of not making it, and you're finding an excuse. So it's almost like a pre-warning indicator. Okay, so let's go back to what I was saying in terms of continuous improvement and that mindset. So I know that age will be a challenge. So what that means then is I can't do what I just used to do, which was just run. Now, with age being a challenge and to still get faster, I need to find the code, the key to unlock that speed. So with my continuous improvement mindset, now I'm starting to look at other elements, not just running, not just putting on my shoes, running a lot, running fast, running slow, easy recovery runs, just not running, and that's it. So what I've got here, and I'll review it every week, and I'll read to you what's on the paper. I didn't show you then because it's got my handwriting on it and it's pretty messy. And some of it's with my left hand, some of it's with my right hand. Here we go. So what I evaluate myself on every week was, did I do my warm-up routine every time before I went for a run? Did I understand the purpose of the run? So I'm not just going out to run now. There's a reason why I'm going out to run. There's something I can do during that run to improve. And that's the purpose. Do I know what the purpose of the run is? Have I focused on my cadence and improving my cadence as I'm running? Am I using meditation and visualization and fortitude? So really turning on that switch to dig deep when it hurts during a run. Was I doing that in the last week? My meal planning and prep, was I doing that? Because I measure my meal planning and prep because I know it's a key performance indicator for clean meals. So if I want to eat clean meals, nutritionally rich and beneficial meals, the indicator or the key element for those good meals to happen is making sure that I'm doing good prep for the meals, that I'm planning the meals. So there's a strong correlation between the two. So am I doing that? So the next one is clean eating and my weight, my body composition. Am I taking in the right nutrition for my recovery? So again, before I'd just come home, eat anything, I'd get away with it the next day. So remember, age is not my excuse, it's a challenge. Age is my challenge and not my excuse. So this is how I've started to unlock the challenge. I've watched, got into other resources that help me learn more about reading. So of course, there's a lot of good videos on YouTube. I've got a coach, I rely on him a lot, Coach Mark. If you flick to my other channel, The Inconsequential Runner, you see a lot of videos there with me talking to Coach Mark. So if you are into running or maybe other types of sport, there's a whole lot of videos there that are really helpful. Reading magazines, reading books, even old books. So I'm reading a book now by Coach Arthur Lydiard, who is well regarded in the running world. And his book, I think, was written in the 60s or 70s, but 95% of what's in that book we're still using now in terms of running. Okay, but what I'm doing is exposing myself to a lot of other thinking about running and about training. Gym, do a lot of gym work. I go to the gym at least 3 times a week, and that's prehab. So strengthening stuff that makes sure that my muscles don't fatigue so much when I'm running. I'm strengthening my as much as I can, or prehabbing my tendons, my ligaments, all of that. Strength, and to go with that, yoga and stretching. Flexibility work, so working through my hip. So a lot of these things, you know, if I'm watching a movie, then I can go through 2 or 3 of these things in terms of the yoga, the flexibility, making sure I've got good mobility in my joints, core work, sleep and recovery. That's a big one that I'm focusing on. So my sleep used to be about 7 hours a night. Now I'm getting closer to between 8 and 8.5. Anything less than 8 is a failure. My lung capacity, so I've started to wear a mask, a specific mask to inhibit my breathing to help strengthen my lung capacity. Does it work or not? I don't know. It's too early for that, but I'm giving that a go. Focusing on my form to make sure my running is more efficient. So let's not get the motor stronger if we can't get it more efficient at the same time. And checking in on my foot health. So making sure, real simple things, like when I get out of the shower, drying between my toes and just making sure my feet are dry and healthy. Another element I've got down here is working hard on mental resilience. So in terms of my results in my running, and like tonight with my 3,000 meter race, there will be a big difference in times if I really push myself, or it hurts too much and I just take it easy-ish sort of thing. Sometimes I can really, really bury myself, and when I do, I get good results. So Now, that was a list of things. If you've listened to the list of things as I went through it, the value to you is this. That was my continuous improvement mindset. Because I recognize that age is a challenge and not an excuse, so I shouldn't be getting slower, and there's no reason for me to get slower. But accepting the challenge means I've been able to look at other things that I didn't look at before to get the gains that will help me run faster. That's it. That's it. Okay, if you've watched to the end, thank you so much. I think there's more value, obviously, if you watch to the end, because you get the whole picture. I'm not trying to sell you watching to the end. I mean, you're already here. But look, I hope there's something in that for you. So to go through those steps again, high level, my continuous improvement mindset, I apply it to running, many other things in my life, but as the running example. And what it means is, because I'm over 50 now, age is going to be a challenge, but I'm not going to let it be my excuse. Long term, I'm long term in this. In my mind, I'm going to be running into my 80s. You know, best case scenario, I'll share it. Best case scenario is I have a great run, I come home, have a fantastic sleep, I don't wake up in the morning, you know, and I'm in later my 80s, or I'm in my 90s, or whatever. You know, that's best case scenario. So that's what I'm working towards. Not the dying part, but being pretty healthy and pretty good all the way through to the end. And the continuous improvement mindset is helping me, and that is how I've applied it to my running. So rather than just running, there's a whole bunch of elements I look at. Now, that I know that might feel overwhelming, but I've added to it over time. And you don't have to, there's almost a 50-50 relationship between my running. So for 1 hour running, all those other things I do would probably add up to maybe 2 hours. So actually, I said 50-50, it's more a 2-to-1 ratio. 67% of the time, my running training comprises of that stuff that helps me improve my running. And the other 33% is the actual shoes on my feet and out doing it. How much running am I doing a week? Anything between 60 kilometers and probably maxing 100. So let's convert that to miles. So 36 miles to 60 miles. So yeah, that's what I'm doing in terms of the running, and then complementing it with all that other stuff. In terms of my weight at the moment, sitting at 74. I did get it a little bit heavy recently. I was up about 78. This is kilos, down to 74. And I think my peak's going to be around about 71, 70. So looking to get there. 70 kilos is times 2.2 gives you your pounds. So 154 pounds. So yeah, that gives you some sort of idea. Oh, how tall am I? It's always nice to know, right? I'm 6 foot, so 183 centimeters. So 183 centimeters, around about 70 kilos is what I think will be my peak. Now, that's going to be a little bit skinny, and that took a bit of a shift in my mind to get my head around, because I used to do, or I tried to do bodybuilding, and I still love bodybuilding, but I'm not a bodybuilder. That's another video for another day, where I've had to redefine who I am, and I was searching for something that I wasn't who I was, and it left me really discontent. And when I essentially stopped lying to myself and was really honest with myself about what it was I needed, then the things that better suited me, like running instead of bodybuilding, just came to the fore. And it's given me everything that I hope to get in bodybuilding, but it gave me in running. I'll talk more about that, because that was a super important discovery. And it gave me, I wouldn't say happiness, but I'd say contentment. And that means, in fact, sometimes being content will offer you a lot more than being happy, because happy can be relative and temporary, where being content seems to last a lot longer. Anyway, I'm going into a whole other video here. So a bit of a heads up of what's coming up next. Actually, yeah, if that interests you, hit subscribe. But that's my mantra. That's my mantra. Age will be my challenge, but not my excuse. All right, that's it. Quickly, last thing. So I've talked about it in terms of my physical aspects, but also my mental aspects. So age, same sort of thing, will be my challenge, but not my excuse for mental aspects. And recently I came across my son's workbook that was only half finished for algebra. And I haven't done algebra since I was at high school. So we're talking years ago. I sat down, started to work my way through the workbook. And wow, it came back pretty quickly. And it revitalized a part of my brain that I wasn't using. So I think when we have thinking patterns, we think in specific ways. And like grooves in a record, the needles can get stuck in those ways. Because doing this algebra just felt like it opened up another part of my brain and revitalized it. So, okay, that sounds a bit, out there, but I can only tell you how it felt. So what I'm doing now is a page of algebra every second day. I just grab his workbook, work the way through it. But that's just been a phenomenal sort of realization. So anyway, that gives you an idea of some of the content coming up and how we can bring continuous improvement into our lives to make them easier, make them simpler, and also improve performance. So a lot of the videos I've talked about recently are about improving performance. I want to get more into easier and simpler, just cutting out the dumb stuff that we do. I did a video a little while ago talking about quitting stupid busy. So being stupid busy, like way too busy as opposed to balance, and quitting that. I'm going to get more into that too. Okay, now I'll shut up. These videos I do all in one take, and I've got an idea what I want to share, but I've got no idea on how I'm going to share it. So you're seeing this for the first time as I'm saying it for the first time. I'm seeing it for the first time with you. That's it. I'm gone. I'm out. If you made it to the end, you're a legend. Take care. Catch up with you in the next one. See ya.